Every choice we make in fashion leaves a trace on the planet, a trace on the people who make our clothing, and a trace of the future that we're walking towards. It's important to see everything that we buy and use for what it really is. Hey, I'm Desiree. I'm the founder of Bose & Company, a 100% vegan luxury shoe brand making timeless, evergreen pieces. Most of us don't even think about it when we put on a pair of shoes or pick out a shirt, but behind every piece of clothing that we wear is a long journey of impact. At Bose, we believe that understanding that journey is important. Once we know the impact of what we wear, we can make choices that truly align with our values, choices that protect animals, care for the planet, and still celebrate beautiful design. This is where something called a life cycle assessment, or LCA, comes into play, where we look at the whole story of a product, from the materials that it's sourced from to how it's worn and what happens when it's eventually returned back into the earth. So let's take a closer look step by step. Everything begins with materials, what they're made from and how they're sourced. For example, for shoe materials like leather, synthetic fabrics, or plant-based alternatives, each one comes with its own impact in regards to land use, water use, and emissions. For clothing, cotton farming or the production of synthetic fabrics can involve heavy water use, pesticides, and soil depletion. So the very first stage is looking at these materials, where they come from, and how they are each made. Stage 2 is manufacturing. Turning raw materials into wearable products has significant environmental effects. This includes energy and water use, chemical use, along with waste and emissions. Then we move on to assembly and packaging. Here, materials are cut, sewn, and transformed into finished products. The energy used, waste created, and the packaging chosen all contribute to the product's footprint. Opting for recycled, minimal, or biodegradable packaging can reduce the impact long before the product even reaches you. Once made, every product travels, often across continents, before it ends up in your hands. Transportation, whether it be by land, sea, or air, contributes to greenhouse emissions. Even storage and logistics play a part in a product's carbon footprint. Supporting local production or slower shipping options can reduce this impact. And once the product reaches your hands, this is when you become a part of the story. The way that you care for your shoes or your clothing affects its total environmental footprint. Because the longer a product lasts, the lower its total environmental impact. And of course, eventually every product reaches its end. What happens next really matters. It's important to think about whether or not the product can be recycled, resold, or repaired, making sure it doesn't end up in a landfill or incineration, releasing toxins back to the planet. Choosing to upcycle, repurpose, or to buy from brands that have circularity built into their program really helps to close this loop. When you look at the full life cycle of what you wear, from how it's made to what happens once you're done with it, you realize how much power you have. What you buy, how you care for it, and how long you keep it all has an environmental toll, and all of it adds up to shape the future of fashion. When you choose what aligns with your values, choose to repair instead of replace, and when you value quality over quantity, this is where real change happens. It's about walking lighter on the planet, one conscious choice at a time. Together, we're redefining what fashion can stand for. Thank you so much for being a part of it.